here it is, 100 days later. The inside of the house is finally finished. The outside is coming along just fine. But I wanted you to be the first to see the tour of the inside and what the completion looks like, because you've been there since day one to see all the X's and O's that had to come in place. This red, hideous carpet. You'll see this finished room in this video. Come on, let's go inside. But first, we have to pump our brakes. It took us a little longer than we expected because this dear thing, air conditioned, went out. We had to get it replaced. And on top of that, they had to come out, and a lot of times they're very busy. So that's what happens when you need last minute service. But thankfully, they came out and fixed it. Air is working fine. But then another brake screech. We found a pipe that was leaking, and so that had to be fixed. But now it's all done, and we're happy. So, on to the house tour. Here we go. What a tour. But let's see if you remember this. Remember this room that I was telling you had the hideous red carpet? Remember from the second video all these shadow photos that we had in that video? Well, did you remember where they were? Did you see the new room and how it all came together? Where here it is. Remember, that's how it looks now. So, the theme of off season, our channel, is to do things that are different, not of the norm. So, over these next few photos, I'm going to show you how we kind of stepped outside the box. But this particular picture in the bathroom, you see the wall art up there. I bought it at a discounted rate because you see there's some missing spots and missing pieces. So I think it was maybe $2, $3, normally $40. So always look for deals. That's number one. But I also found this eagle during another time for $2. So I just added it to that piece of artwork. And the next thing that I want you to understand is you don't always have to use regular wallpaper. There are some things that you line shelves with that have the sticky back, adhesive to the back. You can use that for decorating certain parts of your walls. Acts just like wallpaper. It don't stick. You can remove it when you're ready. Don't pay expensive prices for wallpaper. Everyone likes a comfort room or a comfort space. So, whatever your comfort space is, utilize an empty space in your house somewhere. For me, I chose this closet that we were not going to use. So, I wanted to make it into something that I would use it for. And that was a little bar. And I think it worked out really good. And everyone loved candle holders. I agree. I like them too. I had some in the hallway, in the entryway. But for these, I like these candle holders, but I didn't want to use them as candle holders. So I have some little artificial flowers to decorate the barn doors. And I think it looks great. One have a glass, one don't have a glass. Tell me which one you like better in the comments. One of the glass got broke. So I thought about, hey, just put the flowers up. Tell me what you think. The next thing is remember this. Picture frames are not always for pictures. Sometimes you just can decorate with them. So that's what I did with these. They came as is. I like the color. They don't say anything horrendous on them. So I just used them for decoration. You don't always have to add a picture. When you buy wall art, these didn't cost but $23, but it's for the wall. But when you buy wall art, make sure, I like to have it flexible. So I wanted something to cover the windows on the entry doors, and I didn't want a standard curtain and rod. So I saw these, and actually it's cheaper. It turned out to be cheaper. So I bought two, one for this door, one for the other door. Just make sure your wall art is flexible. If I ever get to a place I want to use these as wall art as they're designed to do, I can do that. But for now, they are my curtains for my entryway. We all need a place for umbrellas and other unique things that don't have a designated place. I took these glass jars and made them umbrella holders and put them right by the door where they can put them in wet or dry, and it works out fine. Utilize things in different ways. Now, this one was very unique because it's actually a wine holder, but I already had one in the kitchen holding wine. I don't buy that much wine, so I didn't need to use this one for wine. I decided to use it as a book holder. Not that I'm a big reader all the time, but sometimes you may have people that want to come by and grab a book and sit and flip through it or what have you. Well, now I have a space for books. Utilize things that you're not going to use. I didn't want to put the wine holder in storage, so this is what I'm using it for. Now, guys, this idea right here, can you guess what these are? They're not curtain rods that you can go to the store and buy. So, what are they? How did I do this? Well, they are guardrails, handrails for outdoor steps. And the little round things are table legs. Some people use them on a sofa table. But I bought them separate, put them together, and that's what is hanging up my curtains in the living room. I thought it was wonderful. I painted these white. I painted the other ones gray. Looks fabulous where they are to me, and I'm satisfied with it. So again, just because they're handrails and table legs don't mean you have to use them as handrails and table legs. Just saying. So I saw this guest book wedding registry in a store, and it was discounted really reasonable. I liked it, but people can actually come to your house, sign, and then drop it down like the little game. I thought that was unique, and that's what I'm using it for. I don't have a wedding registry going on, but my guests will be happy to sign it, I'm sure. So here are some more wall hanging ideas. These are wall hangers, but I bought two of them. One to go as a towel holder, and the other one, as you saw, was holding the oven mitts above the oven. So I decided to utilize those wall hangers in that way. If I decide to change, I have them available. They have pockets in them, so they can practically go anywhere in the house. My final tidbit idea for off-seasonal use is this wine rack. So this wine rack is for wine, but I figured out, hey, it can hold some of my glasses as well. So that saves space. I don't have to try to figure out where to put the glasses. I just bought less wine and stuck the glasses inside of there. And when I get ready to use one, or one of my guests get ready to use one, they just simply grab it off the wine rack. Marvelous idea. Help save space, save time, save money. Hi, I'm Melissa, and thank you so much for submitting questions to me since I started doing these videos. I picked out 9 questions that I was able to answer, and I did them just unanimously. So if I don't answer your question on this go round, stick around for another video. Maybe I'll answer some more questions at another time. But please like my videos, share them, subscribe to our page. Comment in the comments if you're able to ask questions. I appreciate it. And here you go. I hope I answered your questions thoroughly. So the first question is, what was the first thing purchased for the house? What was the first thing I purchased for the house? I know that I chose the color, the paint for the accent walls in the bedrooms first. I knew I wanted 2 accent walls for the bedrooms, and that's what I got first. And then I think I chose the artwork for the guest bedrooms. That was the next thing. So first the paint, if that is considered a thing. But I know the artwork that had to go on the walls was next. And I centered everything else around the color of the accent wall and the artwork that I purchased. Next question is, what was the hardest thing to fix up in the house? I wouldn't say I had something that was hard to fix up in the room per se. I guess if I had to look at it in that sense, the living room was the third room in the house to get prepared, ready, but I had to create it as 4 different functioning things. So I knew I had to have a dining room area there. I had to have it serve as a living room, and the small office was going to be there, as well as a social area. So the living room actually served as four purposes. And if I had to choose, that would be listed as per se the hardest thing. But it really wasn't hard because it was actually the third room that was finished in the house. So I hope that answers that question. Next question. What piece of furniture are you most proud of? What piece of furniture am I most proud of? I'll have to say the dining room table set, because I purchased three different items. I purchased the table from one location, the chairs from another location, and the stools from another location. And the stools, it had to, in the end, I wanted it to look like it all came as one set. So when I bought the stools, I asked my sister if she was able to put the velvet on it, and she did. And as you can see, you may have seen in the other videos, the stools look totally different than they do now. And the whole thing looks as if I went and bought it as one set, when in actuality I didn't. So I'm very proud of how that turned out, because it matches each other perfectly. It complements each other perfectly. I will say this, I'm also proud of some artwork that is in our master bedroom. The shadows, I always wanted pictures of shadows of our family portrait, our kids, our grandkids, and I'm really proud at how that look turned out as well. So yeah, I like that. Okay, question number 4. Is it something you had to cut back on due to budget? So, is it something that I had to cut back on due to budget? Um, I I will say I have to know when to say when it comes to decorating, because I like a simple look. I don't like it overcrowded, but when I go shop for different pieces, I always see something that I think will go perfect in a certain spot, but I already have something in that spot. So I guess I have to cut back on just the shopping part of furnishing the look. When you're staging, you have to be careful not to overstage, because you'll end up spending money that you don't have to spend. So I think that's where I had to cut back at on the staging part. Question 5. What is Richard's favorite part of the house? Okay, what is Richard's favorite part of the house? Well, let's just ask him, because I don't know.
Well, my favorite room, I guess, got to be the bedroom, the master bedroom, because it's very spacious, and also it has the bar in it. I guess I gotta say that's my favorite room.
Next question. Who was your first guest in the finished house? Well, that would be my little granddaughter, Serenity. Well, she's not little Serenity anymore. She's big Serenity. And of course, when she came to her Mimi's house, she had to tell me which room was going to be hers. So, in her own words, here she go. So there we have it. And of course, that's yet to be seen if that will be her room. Next question is, what is your favorite spot in the house? So what's my favorite spot in the house? Well, it's actually not a favorite spot in the house. I really enjoy being outside on the back porch, because it gives me the feeling that I'm on a vacation. This is a spur of the moment question. Someone just happened to see your shirt and ask, what does your shirt say? So wait, that's a spur of the moment question. That's not a viewer's question. What does my shirt say? It says flips to her. It's the word I created. Flips to her. For the noun, it's my name, Melissa. For the, what is it? The verb is buy low, sell for profit. And the adjective is quantities and quantities. And you can see also Boss Lady. So thanks to Cassandra Archibald Lake for doing this shirt for me. And that's what that says. So, how do you decide upon a reno or renovation budget? How do you decide upon a reno budget? Renovation can be very expensive. So, um, for me, I don't necessarily say, hey, I want to spend $25,000 in this house, or I want to spend $100,000 in this house. I take each room, I count the number of rooms in the house that will be there upon completion, and I set aside an amount per room. Um, no, I don't go say I want to spend $800 in the bathroom, $200 in the kitchen, $500 here. I set one cross the board limit. So, say for instance, $1,200 for each room is allotted. I may or may not spend $1,200 per room, but that's the allotment. So whatever that equals up to, that's what I'm allowing myself. Sometimes I go over, sometimes I go under, but I've found that it all equals up. And very rarely do I go way over my budget for each room, but I like doing it per room, not an overall $1,000 huge amount. I never did that to any of the renos I've done. And the final question, how do you come up with your renovation plan? Yeah, so how do I come up with my renovation plan? Of course, you always look at the project first and see if you even want to, if it's something that you even want to tackle or handle. I suggest anyone doing their due diligence to make sure what the ins and outs or probabilities will be, so you won't run into any unknowns. But of course, unknowns are always there. So you can't say that no property will have any unknowns. You'll always run into those. But for me, I don't necessarily write down a 5-step plan as to what needs to be done. I always go by my what I call a flipster, a flipster her 6-hour guideline. And those guidelines, following each of those guidelines, help me to determine whether, number one, I want to tackle the project, number two, how I'm going to tackle the project, and number three, how long it should take me to tackle the project. So, and actually that 6-hour course, I offer that as part of my Flips to Her program, to anyone that's interested. It's not something that requires a lot of attention, but I say 6 hours because I ask that people who want it dedicate at least 20 to 25 minutes per subject. There are 11 subjects in the program that I follow. So, if you study it and just read over it, I think that'll help. But plan, not necessarily, but guidelines definitely for me. Yeah.